Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Prospero.ai stock market live streams. I hope you're all having a great day today, and hopefully everybody finds us. We're at a different stream schedule this week. We're live right now, obviously, Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. for everybody that's joining in live, everybody that's watching later. We will be live again this week, Thursday at 3 p.m. So the streams were shifted back about a day for each. So hopefully, if you're tuning in now, you'll tune back in then. Good to see everybody here today. We're also trying a new thing today. So our streaming software just updated a feature that allows you to now stream in multiple formats at once. So for our YouTube viewers, we have two streams going on concurrently. So if you're usually in the horizontal stream, this is like the regular formatted stream, like a video. Um, you're in the right spot. If you're in the vertical one, that's where we're trying to get some new people. YouTube shares those vertical streams with new audiences, but you should probably hop on over to the horizontal one if you want the classic format. But either way, whichever you're watching on, welcome in. We have some great topics we're going to be going through today. We are seeing a mixed market currently. The QQQ is in the red, the SPY is in the red, the Dow is in the green, and the Russell is also in the red at the current moment. This is after we saw quite the green day yesterday. Um, the markets were all very, very green yesterday on hopes of a government reopening, which now has a 96% chance on poly market of happening. But it looks like some healthcare insurance stocks were dropping yesterday after the news was that the ACA healthcare would not be included, but there will be a vote in December. So I'm going to ask George about some of those stocks like Molina, Oscar, CNC, Centene. They were all dropping. Looks like some of them are recovering today. Mario's in the stream. Hello, Mario. Morning, guys and gals. Good to see you. Welcome back. Thanks for finding us here on our odd scheduled time. Welcome, welcome. We're going to also be talking about the Japanese firm SoftBank. If you haven't heard of them, they are a major Wall Street player. They made a huge announcement of selling their entire NVIDIA stake, which took the market by surprise. So we will go over that as well. Then we have to give an update on the Burry situation. So everybody knows we were covering last week how Michael Burry shorted Palantir and NVIDIA with 80% of his portfolio. Well, he came out and he shared some more information on just how much he thinks these stocks are over counting their earnings, and it's due to things like depreciation of chips. Um, it's in the hundreds of billions of dollars, and he mentioned some companies specifically. So we will go through all of that. We will also bring up today how President Trump announced that with the tariff revenue that the USA has been collecting, he expects to be able to pay citizens basically a stimulus check with some of the tariff revenue. So we'll talk with George about, is this possible? Is it going to happen? How soon can it happen? Can it happen like immediately? And what would that do for the economy and the stock market if that was to be true? I saw a very interesting comment. I wish I could remember who I saw mentioning this on Twitter, was where I was reading it, or X. They mentioned that XYZ and PayPal are the AOL and Yahoo of fintech. And I thought it was such an interesting comparison, given that those stocks have been such dogs in the market. They've gone nowhere since their COVID highs. They've now just been basing and kind of wandering sideways and lower for the years since. So I'm wondering if George agrees. And this has occurred while we've seen stocks like SoFi and Robinhood and others all do so well in that same similar space and in the market recently. So maybe it's a good comparison, and these companies aren't the darlings they once were. A few more topics to go through. We have Warren Buffett sending out a final farewell. He is no longer going to be writing the annual Berkshire letter, and it came out yesterday, and everybody was reacting to seeing. It's like it reminds me of when these athletes are on their like farewell tour, and every stadium they go to, they get like a tribute video, and they have people like cheering them, even if they're on an opposing team. That's how I feel like Wall Street is treating Buffett right now. He's on his farewell tour, and well deserved, of course. A few more stories to go through today. By the way, everybody, If you're new to the streams, definitely hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Definitely follow us on Twitter if you're watching on there. Appreciate you being here. We love to answer the questions that you guys want to hear most. So don't be shy. If you have any questions about single stocks, business, AI, tech, macro, micro, feel free to comment them in our chat. We'll be happy to answer them on the stream today. I'm just running through all the topics now, and then George will join me and we'll go into detail on each one. And we'll also do a model portfolio update at the end, which is when we make live adds and drops to our portfolio that has outperformed the markets years and years and years on end. So you want to stick around for that. Okay. Two more stories to go through. The first of which is Meta stock, which was slightly in the red this morning after Jan LeCun decided to leave the company, and he was one of the higher ups in their AI division, and he's actually the chief AI scientist. And this story made me wonder if any of the Mag 7 CEOs were to step away or retire, which one would it matter the least? Sometimes I feel like we've covered this story before of which one it would matter the most, and it's been Elon Musk, Jensen Huang. But I think we have to ask today, if that story came out, which company would be unaffected if their CEO were to walk away at this point, or dare I say, even maybe increase if an exciting new CEO came on board. So we'll talk about that. And last but not least on the stream today, we have a lot of topics to go through, so hopefully we get through them all. But we have Tesla, which sold the least amount of cars in multiple years in China last month. I have the details on it. It's actually the least amount of cars in 3 years. So not their China business not looking good. I have an interesting question based on this topic around the future of cars, and I'm going to be relating them to smartphones actually. So we'll see what George has to say if he thinks my thesis could be true as full self-driving technology comes to fruition with cars. But that will be it for today on the topics wise. And we will take a look now at the QQQ and SPY net options sentiments. So let's see here. I looked this morning, they were very, very diverse or divergent. QQQ is at 35 right now in not option sentiment, and SPY is at 2. So we're continuing to see this gap that has been almost a staple of the QQQ and the SPY in 2025. I would say more often than not, we're seeing these numbers be very different as people are confident in the AI and tech rally and lacking a little confidence in the rest of the market. Although we did see a change last week when all of the open AI and just AI drama was coming out with Michael Burry, and then Sam Altman's response to being asked about how they're going to fund some of their commitments. And then actually I saw an OpenAI employee sent out a letter for like a government basically bailout before it even happened. It was a weird thing. I don't know if any of our viewers caught that last week. But there was a lot going on in the AI industry last week that kind of got a little bit of jitters, and a lot of these mega cap tech companies were not performing well last week. We're seeing a bit of a change here today so far, and with the trading this week. I'm interested. Are we seeing? Oh yes, we are live vertically on YouTube. This is good to see. We have 2 live streams going on right now. I'm wondering how this is going to work out for us. If it's going to be help us or hurt us. So we'll see. We're testing it today, everybody. If you're just tuning in now and you missed me saying it in the beginning, we're live streaming in more than one format here today. So if you're a regular Prospero viewer, you probably head over to the horizontal, like the regular stream, the one that's in a video format. I think that chat is connected to here. I think if you comment in the vertical one, we will not be able to see it on our stream. So FYI. But the vertical streams have a much greater reach. So we're testing it here today. We'll see how it goes, if it helps or not, as we try to grow the streams and the channel, which we actually have been getting a lot of viewers and subscribers recently. So I appreciate all of you who have been joining the Prospero YouTube family. Let me take a look across the markets now. We'll see how things are moving today as we are set to begin the topics any moment. We're actually seeing the QQQ start to sell off a little bit more here. And it's interesting, actually, as the QQQ declines, the Dow Jones is rising even more. So a very rotational day currently as we begin here. With the QQQ down, I expect to see some of our Mag 7 stocks in the red. We currently have Apple in the green, Amazon red, Google red, Microsoft red, Meta red, Tesla red. Oh my goodness, a lot of red today. I'm wondering how Nvidia is moving based off this SoftBank news as well. Let's see. Nvidia is down over 3% today, so yes, they are down as well. It's not looking like a super bullish day, a little bit of a flip from yesterday. Let's see how Bitcoin is moving. Bitcoin is currently down 2%. It has been holding on to that 100K level, though. I don't know how much our viewers pay attention to Bitcoin these days. We cover it from time to time on the streams, but it's kind of been lagging, but it's been holding that 100K level. So hasn't quite broken down just yet. Seems like it's got some firm footing there. By the way, I should also say happy Veterans Day to everybody who is a veteran. Appreciate you guys who have served, and all the active military as well. My brother is actually currently in the Marines, so shout out, Ricky. Appreciate you and all of our veterans. All right, we should have George tuning in at any moment, and then we will begin. Only one comment here today, though. I'm wondering if our multi-streaming has broken our live chat here. Who's tuning in? Let me know. I want to see some of our live chatters. I'm trying to actually find our horizontal one. It's not showing up. Hey, Jill is here. There's some of our chatters. Oh, okay, here we go. We got Gilbert as well. Thanks for saying hi, everybody. I'm trying to pull up our regular video. Okay, here's everybody. I just had to ask for the comments. Here we go. Will is here. Gilbert's here. Oh my gosh, everybody's here. All the OGs. Oh my goodness, I'm actually surprised how many people are saying hello. Hello, everybody. Which topic are you most excited for today? Here we go. Hello, Arun. Oh my gosh, standard deviation. What's up? What's up? What's up? Gilbert, you're most excited to hear about NVIDIA? I know this whole AI super cycle, like only up growth. I feel like it's all being questioned and challenged now for like the most serious challenge it's had throughout the whole rally. So it's going to be an interesting topic for sure. Oscar and PayPal, two good stocks, going to be interesting as well. Hello, George. Welcome to the stream today.
Hello, can you hear me? It said something about
Oh,
my
wait.
mic.
I have no audio for you.
Oh, God.
Oh, there we go. It just came through.
Oh, okay, good.
Thoughts about housing with potential 50-year? That was a bubble topic for me, Will. Maybe we can highlight that for just a moment. I saw that headline come through where they want to do like 50-year mortgages now, and it should help people. It's actually funny that headline just came out because we were chatting last stream about how the median age of home buyers increased to the highest level ever at 40 years old. So looks like they're trying to address it. So a 50-year mortgage, I guess, would help people. I think that the longest one now is 30 years, if I'm not mistaken, or is it 40? But yeah, it would definitely help cut the cost down a bit. Other chat I can hear said David. I don't know what other chat. Does that mean because we're multi-streaming, Mario? Either way, let's get into the topics here. We have, George, QQQ and SPY still pretty split in net option sentiment. We saw a super bullish day yesterday. Everything was up. Today, not so much. QQQ is in the red. Dow is currently in the green. A bit of a rotational day. How are you feeling about the markets? We're getting a lot of headlines. We'll get into the government shutdown possibly ending and all of that good stuff, and some of the stuff happening in AI and tech. But with the signals you're seeing in Prospero and the market action so far this week, what are you feeling? What are your latest thoughts?
Well, yeah, I saw SPY and option sentiment recover a little. And so it's back down to zero, is at 2. I pulled some stuff off, like, being a little more cautious this week. I thought iHeartRadio again. I got it, and it again, it's screwing me over. It looked like it was finally time to go down. But yeah, I mean, look, I think we're definitely seeing like even some good news that I think previously would have carried the market is wearing off pretty quickly. So yeah, it's a pretty scary market right now. I thought we would get more of a recovery this week. I'll probably back off of even more of my stuff soon, just because the market just looks a lot softer.
Do you have any opinion on this 50-year mortgage before we get into some of the other topics?
You're jumping right into that. I mean, it's terrible, right? I mean, that sounds like even like a silly number. Like it's going to lower monthly payments, but it's going to make people pay so much more in interest. It's kind of crazy. Like if you can't afford a 30-year mortgage, like if those payments are too high, you shouldn't be in the house. That's how I feel about it.
Yes, and if the average age is 40, you'll be paying it off by the time you're almost hitting triple digits of 100. So it's pretty.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
It's terrible. It's insane.
Gilbert said terrible for paying off interest. So I want to also bring up the government shutdown. It's becoming a little bit of a boy who cried wolf story here, because I feel like we've covered the ending of the government shutdown maybe 2 or 3 times now. But this one looks like to be the most probable that we are actually going to get the ending this week. It's currently priced at 96% odds on Polymarket for between November 12th to 15th of the government shutdown ending. And I believe it was passed yesterday, and now it just needs to go through one more final stage of voting, and it should be passed. Now, it seems like the market with 96% odds is probably pricing a lot of the effects of like the bullishness in maybe. But what we did see yesterday when this was announced, and the ACA, which are like the healthcare subsidies, were not included in this. A lot of those stocks are dropping, like Oscar, Molina, CNC, Centene, and a lot of them were dropping. There is going to be a vote in December for those stocks, a separate vote on that continuing or not. Do you think these stocks are like untouchable at this point until we get clarity on that situation? Or can they, since they've dropped a lot already, can they even, be decent investments without those subsidies extending?
I mean, there's definite upside if the subsidies are extended. However, Mike Johnson was very non-committal about whether or not these subsidy, they were even willing to talk about the subsidies. I have no fucking idea what these Democrats were doing. Like, to me, it's absolutely insane. Like Democrats had all the leverage. Finally, it was like working out for them. And in classic Democrat fashion, they give up and get nothing. like the Republicans were starting to get real pressure. Trump was booed at a Redskins game, and they just fold for what? Like the whole point of this was they were supposed to get those subsidies extended, and it's especially bad. Like they couldn't even get Mike Johnson to come out and say like, "Hey, we're strongly considering it," and then back out later. He was just basically like, "Yeah, we'll see." Really, the Democrats find new ways to look dumb, and this is a fun new way where they actually do like have a strong opposition to something. They have some conviction, and they back out of it and get literally nothing that they asked for. They just kick the can down the road, which is like, if they were going to do that, why not do it while applying pressure to the Republicans? Really dumb. Another really, really dumb thing for them. But that connects to the story where it's like, no, I wouldn't bet on them getting those subsidies now that they've folded. Like, you'd have to be crazy. Like, yeah, there's upside, But, betting on the Democrats, I don't feel like is ever a good bet. And it's especially bad after we just watch them fold.
I did see some harsh reactions of people being like, if you were going to wait 40 days and then kind of give in, you should have just never shut down the government in the first place. But
Yeah.
my question is, once the government reopens, are we back to business as usual, or do you expect there to be any effects from this, 1 month plus shutdown of the government?
Um, I mean, I think they said something like 15 was costing like the economy like $15 billion a week. So yeah, I mean, I think that money doesn't go nowhere. That was like frozen. So yeah, I mean, I think we'll probably see it in GDP at the very least. Like I think some of the hiring stuff is a little scary too. We'll see if it impacts spending. But yeah, I like this is just another real puzzler by the Democrats. And yeah, it's just like, okay, you put everyone through this. I mean, if it works in the end, great for them. But I just don't see what the move is here, and it just feels like it feels very frustrating. Yeah, like they put people through a lot. Like they put people through supposedly to get these subsidies, and these subsidies are important. A lot of people are going. I think they said. I think the rough estimates of people's premiums are going to double. So yeah, I'm on the ACA. Like pretty much anyone that works for themselves is on the ACA. It affects a lot of people. A lot of people are gonna get thrown off Medicare too. It's a whole other thing. So yeah, it's kind of really like it. It did seem like maybe the Democrats were going to get a win and the American people were going to get a win, but it doesn't look like it.
I think I'm on it too. Honestly, I have no idea, but I think we'll just have to stay healthy, George.
You probably are. Yeah. And I mean, it's very frustrating when like we can't give like 42 million in SNAP benefits and people need to be kicked off Medicare. But we have $20 billion for Argentina after it was supposedly the America First government. You look at that and it's hard to look at. It's very frustrating.
Well, I will spin to another story surrounding the government because we do also have money for something else, supposedly, which I'm wondering how this will work out. But President Trump truthed that because of the dividend or the revenue that we're getting from tariffs, he's expecting that a payment of at least $2,000 will be sent out to USA citizens. High income earners will be excluded. $215 billion has been collected already by tariffs in 2025. Do you expect that this will boost the economy? Do you think this will actually, happen? And if so, when? Will it be like next tax season maybe? Or how do you feel about that story coming out of a stimulus for people?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll help. I mean, I think we're going to see more of these. I think as jobs decline, it's so funny for all the anger about like Mamdani and socialists. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's just a payment to people, and there's going to need to be more, because there's going to be job loss, and there's going to be like a lot of money going into the economy and less money going to individuals because of that job loss. What we shared on that graph. So it's just there's so much hypocrisy, and it's just like very like I'm all for like yeah, there's like we have a have and have nots economy increasingly, and I actually don't mind some more distribution, whether it's tariffs or anything else, that balances things out more. It's just very, very weird that the same people that are like on socialism witch hunts are at the same time making socialist payments to people.
Yeah, it's a very strange place, but like you kind of alluded to a bit, like with the tech development, I wonder if this payment from the government to people is going to not be like this was unexpected this time around, but be a yearly thing and kind of increase over time as we balance like the impacts of AI. We've been covering the job loss story. The newsletter was about it recently of the ChatGPT effect of job openings and all of that. So maybe this is a lasting thing that's going to kind of keep growing from here even.
That's what I'm saying. I think it is. I think it absolutely is. There's going to have to be there's all this job loss. The economy is still working for some people. I mean, it's the only way they're gonna it's the only way they're gonna prevent a catastrophic economic condition. And I really just think Democrats, Republicans, whoever, I think they don't think about they don't really think about anything resembling fairness. All they think about and what these payments are for is just enough to stay. They're just giving people enough to stabilize the economy, so the economy doesn't fail. That's what these payments are. If they didn't have to give them out, they wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. We have a question from Yitzi. Hey, long time, didn't check in. What's your thoughts on CTRA?
I don't know. Let's check it out.
That's a new ticker for me, even. Coterra Energy.
Looks okay. It's not a nice net option sentiment trend. Not really at the levels that I like, but it's okay. It's an okay stock. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we say if you have conviction. It's certainly not saying sell, but I don't think anyone that isn't in it. I'm not looking at those signals and saying, oh, you gotta pay attention to this thing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the question, Yitzi. So it's time we get into the real meaty stories this week. We have some updates on Michael Burry, but first, headline came out today that SoftBank, just an absolute behemoth in the investing in Wall Street world, if people are watching and aren't aware of them, sold their entire stake in NVIDIA for $5.83 billion. And some people came out and said that this isn't a bearish thing for NVIDIA because SoftBank has a ton of commitments within the AI space already. So they're going to use this money to kind of fund other AI that like OpenAI and other companies within the space still. I don't know. You sell close to $6 billion and the entire position, it doesn't seem that great. What do you make of this headline for NVIDIA, the fact that SoftBank is no longer a shareholder?
I mean, it's like everybody's favorite thing to make excuses. Oh shoot, I gotta get on this. I mean, I'll give you one now. But I have to upgrade the Discord server so we can make a permanent one. Apparently they don't let you do it. I wish they were just straight up about that. But yeah, they don't let you do it unless
that's sneaky.
I know.
Because it says when you do it,
you do it.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, it's I gotta remember to do that. And they even upgrading is here. Maybe I can look at server settings. Well, you do that. I gotta upgrade this thing. And it's just they're not just you get these features. It's Nitro level 5 or whatever. It's just tell me when I server boost status. Here we go. Unlocked level 3 perks. How do I get to level 3? Unlocked. Okay, let's see what Nick, our Discord person. Oh no, I can't look at him at the same time. Okay, how do I server subscriptions? Payment. All right, we're gonna do this later. Why are you like this? See new perks. How do I get up? Let's do this. $24 a month. Okay, let's see. Level 3. Boost adjustment. Okay. Hopefully we fix this for good.
There you go. No ordinary experience. You shall have your link forever.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully that is good enough. All right. Back to the scheduled programming.
Yes, we can't get distracted from this SoftBank story. I'm interested in your thoughts. Yeah.
It's kind of like when people, it's the same thing when people are like, oh, well, they scheduled that sale. It's like, okay, maybe they scheduled the sale, but it's not a good sign. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad sign. Like to me, actually, what I am saying to people is, I don't know why you don't NVIDIA when you could own like Stera Labs or NBIS, just because they face the same risks, and those like smaller ascending companies are growing faster, right? And I think it's all the same to you. Where you can be like, well, if there's a downturn in it, um, then uh, then those will go down more. Like, yeah, but if you believe in the sector overall, if you're owning NVIDIA long term and you believe in the sector, then you'd rather own the long term thing. You might suffer some more short term losses, but if your theory on NVIDIA is I'm holding it for the next 5 years, I think you'd rather hold NBIS or Astera Labs or INOC for the next 5 years. I just don't think NVIDIA is going to get that same level of appreciation where it is. But that's what it comes down to, right? If you're like, I'm worried that there might be an AI bubble, then I'd argue that you don't want to own NVIDIA or NBIS at all, right? If you don't think that there's a bubble, then I think you'd rather own the smaller ones. And it's a simple, like, we're always trying to set up game theory. And I think that's simple game theory. I don't think there's a good reason to own NVIDIA right now versus more ascending players. You just like, no matter how you slice it, it doesn't make sense to me.
So NVIDIA's best growth is behind it, it sounds like. And if the AI super cycle continues, is obviously going to be winners, much bigger winners. So what is NVIDIA at this point? Is it going to trade more like a value company going forward over time? And yeah, like if you don't own NVIDIA, why would you get excited to buy that for all the problems that you were just saying versus the other more exciting, higher growth ones within that space?
Well, it's like, why do you own, you know, Procter and Gamble? I don't know. I was thinking of big dividend stock. Why do you own a big dividend stock? I don't know why it was escaping me. But that's why, right? We made that specific caveat, right? If you don't have a view on if it's an AI bubble, but you still want some safer upside, then NVIDIA is a good choice for that. It's a safer pick. It has less downside if it is in a bubble. But I'd kind of call that even a half measure. Like, instead of owning, if you want more, risk adjusted growth, like that protects your downside much better than NVIDIA's downside, right? Because like maybe NBIS has 40, 50% downside and then NVIDIA has 20 or 30. Like at that point, you're facing a heavy loss. If you're trying to hold on to growth and mitigate risk, I would consider that to be a half measure. Like at that point, I would do something like, I'd much rather own something like Block, diversified blockchain, or Vanguard Total Return. Those are good ways to capture upside that mitigate risk a lot better than you're going to mitigate it with NVIDIA.
I thought you meant Block as in XYZ for a second. I got excited because we do have a topic about them, but in a moment. We have Yitzy saying, love you guys. Thank you, Yitzy. What a great comment. Nick is saying hello. Hi, Nick. Welcome back to the streams. We have to continue on this AI story because we got a furthering of Michael Burry in his position against the AI sector. So we covered last week and we posted a video from the stream about how Burry is now, or it came out that he was/is 80% short in his portfolio, with Palantir being a huge majority and that NVIDIA making up the other percentage. He gave further details about this, about how he thinks companies are overvaluing the assets and they're not properly accounting for the depreciation of these chips by as much as 176 billion, he estimated. And he singled out Oracle and Meta individually as the two biggest companies that are doing this the most, and saying that their profits could be overstated by as much as 27% for Oracle and 21% for Meta by 2028. So we got some further details on what he was seeing and why he, wanted to short it. Do you think they're legitimate? And if that's the case, yikes, that's a lot. 176 billion. That's a lot.
It's kind of funny when we were talking about this last week. Like the thing that I said was like, Burry's got to have something more behind it, right? So there it is. This is a very specific thing. He probably has specific numbers on it. I'm not sure what that has to do with Palantir or NVIDIA, because NVIDIA is selling new chips. So depreciation, I mean, that doesn't.
I think I could make the case for NVIDIA of the fact that like people just won't be able to keep purchasing at the pace that they are to I don't get Palantir in that thinking as well, but maybe the NVIDIA
Yeah,
thing.
but if that's his specific thesis, it means that eventually places like Oracle and Meta will have to take a big loss. So that seems like the more logical shorts there. It doesn't totally check out. Maybe his thinking could be that that it creates kind of like overall systemic risk, and that overall systemic risk is what's going to hurt these like higher valued stocks, Palantir being one of them. I could see that. But yeah, I mean, I think that makes it more interesting to me and gives it more credence that, like we said, he has some numbers behind it. And when he has numbers, he probably has target prices of what these stocks should land at. So definitely worth following.
And I'm just seeing more and more coverage of people questioning the legitimacy of like how the money is flowing. We've covered the circular economy. There's this classic meme. I forget which show it's an old show, but they like spread $10 around between the three of them, and they're like, "I owe you 20. Here's 10. I owe you 20. Here's 10." And at the end of it, it's the same $10, and they're all like out of luck. And there's this photo going around how like 7 companies are sending $1 trillion worth of digital money essentially back and forth, and this is kind of spurring this demand of the AI stuff. How worried are you that this is going to not be like there is going to be some type of like actual damage, and once one domino drops, like the rest will fall, or will that not happen? Do you not see that as a scenario?
No, it's very intertwined. It is a bubble. I'm just not sure I agree with his timeline on the bubble is the one thing. Like if he's buying options, he could know something, but like maybe his play is that like these depreciation numbers will have to be updated. But even then, he's owning options. Maybe they're long dated options, even if they're going to have to take a depreciation hit at the end of this year, right? Which I don't necessarily agree with. You can really kick the can down the road on these things if you don't want to take it yet, or you want to find some other solution. But maybe he's aware of them out of options in terms of taking those depreciation hits. And maybe that's what relates to NVIDIA. I still can't connect it to Palantir, but maybe if these depreciation hits, I don't know the age of their inventory. That would be an interesting thing for you to follow up on, Stephen. If they have a lot of this inventory that's going to be depreciated, actually NVIDIA, if they're sitting on a big amount of inventory, that could be the biggest hit to them. That could be the thesis. But again, what the fuck does that have to do with Palantir? But if the bubble pops, it's going to pop everything. And Palantir is probably the most overvalued mature company anybody's ever seen, relative to what its current EPS is. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be. I mean, if Burry is right on this one, you've got to put it in him in the conversation as one of the most smartest asymmetrical investors we've seen. Like I mean, and the asymmetrical part is important, because some people, there's been some very famous investors that I don't need to call out specifically. Some of them are pretty litigious. That have been caught, suspected of basically having asymmetry by gathering information that they shouldn't have. But by all accounts, Michael Burry is, not really like, a lot of those people get that kind of information by, working connections, diplomacy, like that doesn't really seem like his game. So he gets it in legal means, but yeah, this would be, to the best of my knowledge, but this would be a big feather in his cap if he's right about this. And, we are seeing a more apprehensive market. I think what happened with NBIS, obviously we got out of it, is big. They did a $3 billion contract with Meta, and I was like, okay, this looks like we're right. And not so much, right? It went up pre-market. I think it was up as much as 6% and then went down. That to me is a real sign, because their earnings were so-so. But that to me is a sign that this thing it does not, like, we don't know if it's ready to pop. It doesn't have the bull energy that it used to have. And a lot of this was retail. So I don't know if retail is buying the narrative more. I don't know if there's actually like real economic strain, how much the shutdown is factoring in. But obviously, it's pulled back today, the shutdown, and we're not seeing people buying this stuff up. So yeah, like if it was a few months ago, I would have been more inclined to be like, Burry's a little crazy. But could be a real thing. But also, like we say all the time, we don't know. He's already probably profitable on these shorts, since he had to put them in September for them to surface in October, the end of September, 9/30. So he's probably already profitable. We don't know how long he expects this to last, but I think one of the very interesting things, I think December of this year is going to be very, very telling, right? Do we get a Santa rally? If we do, it might still be the buy the dip market. If we don't, I'm going to be very cautious heading into 2026.
Very interesting there. I think that's a lot of great stuff for our viewers to digest. Just seems like the AI bull market is murkier than ever at this point. We're getting some questions about Oscar and UNH. So if you just want to run through, we kind of covered it more in detail in the beginning of the stream, but your thoughts on the healthcare stuff?
I mean, I think we covered it. I think until this is resolved, I just don't think. I think there's more downside, and I mean, it looks like the Democrats might lose this standoff. And there's definitely more upside to them eventually winning and getting the subsidies than downside if they don't. Now, I don't know the extent that they depend on. I don't know how much Oscar depends on Medicaid. That's going to be huge regardless. A lot of people are going to get thrown off Medicaid. So that's definitely impactful on the revenue. Who knows how much, because we don't really know how many people are going to get thrown off. But I do think Oscar is pretty involved in Medicaid, so that would scare me. But it's going to cost everyone revenue. What I don't really know about, obviously subsidies are subsidies. So the insurance companies were getting roughly the same amount of money, I imagine. It's just a question of, is it coming from the government or is it coming from people? Now, how many people actually are that price sensitive to insurance? I do not know. So I don't know how much. I think that makes it a very hard forecast problem. But there could be a lot more downside, because I don't think how many people know how many people are willing to go without health insurance if their premiums double. I wouldn't want to bet on that myself. Who knows how much downside? So yeah, I think that's what's happening. I think today was a big loss for healthcare with the Democrats folding, though, no doubt.
We got a question from Sam about CoreWeave, and now I can't imagine you would love it based off what we were saying before about the AI stuff. I just pulled it up. I hadn't been looking at it recently. It's at the lowest point it's been at basically since it rallied after its IPO, under that $100 level that we talked about way back in the day. So, what are your latest thoughts on them?
Let me look. I haven't even thought about them in a while. It's a bear market when I'm not thinking about CoreWeave. Net options is recovering a bit, but it opened at 87 and is now at 77. So don't love the CoreWeave, especially let's see. I mean, NBIS, NBIS is at 76. Net option sentiment. Let's look at ALAB. 69. Shit, something's going on. Something is going on with these chips for sure.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah, that's as low as I've seen those net option sentiments. That is concerning. Maybe Burry is right, but I'm definitely, I already started to de-risk a bit. May look more. I mean, NBIS has recovered a bit. LEU, I got in yesterday, maybe a little too early, but I just think that one is holding 89 at option sentiment. It was at 92 yesterday. That's why I got back in. I think that's one of the only stocks that I have some semblance of conviction on right now. Where I'm just obviously it has to hold on that option sentiment, but it has been holding. Scary. That little tour. NBIS, I think, opened at 90 net option sentiment today. Scary. That's scary stuff. All of them. I mean, I wonder if I should check. I want to check some of it just to get a little more of a baseline. Let's check NVIDIA. Whoa. Something's going on. 52. AMD's holding at 92. That's all right. How's it doing today? NVIDIA 52 net option sentiment. Yeah, AMD's doing a little better than everything else. I mean, it looks like if you got to own one, AMD is the one to own, but that is scary stuff. I don't think I've ever seen AI. Let's look at Iron 76, Cypher 80, holding up a little better, but it was 91 on November 7th. Can't mince words here. That is NVIDIA at 52. I want to check on Palantir. Hold on. 84. It's holding up a little better. 52. I can't remember the last time I saw NVIDIA that low.
So the question becomes, if AI isn't going to work or has a pullback, where or which sector would you want to be in, or would you want to be just cautious, possibly, positioned short? We have a question about hims and hers. Would you want to be in something like that in a healthcare field?
I think I'd be more in a stock like Lululemon. That's been looking good in our signals. I want things that look more bottomed out, that look good in our signals. That's where I would switch. Something like ASTS had a really good response today. I might be inclined to switch back out to that. I wonder what's going on with it, an option sentiment for it. I want a mix. I want some growth. I always want some growth of upside non-AI companies. That's why I named LEU, ASTS. And then I'd also want some on the long side stocks near their bottom. Like I think Lululemon is a good one. I think Baidu, there's a reason that's in there. Mercado Libre. I want things like I want to diversify out of America. All those are good ideas. And then, I'd probably want a basket. Like I'm just waiting to short like something like Wayfair again. Like I got burned on it, but it's down. Might be time. I wonder what net option sentiment is. I'd love to get my revenge on Wayfair.
Well, your thought of buying the dip and things that look like they're bottoming out leads in well to a topic I had of XYZ and PayPal. I saw someone comparing them to being the Yahoo and AOL of fintech. I wonder if you think that's true, how legitimate that comparison is. I thought it was a pretty interesting one when I saw it. These stocks have been terrible.
I think that's hilarious. I think I absolutely agree with that assessment. Like I actually did a really interesting, I do these like bull bear debates with Whole Mars. And we did PayPal, and it was just like alarming. PayPal trades at a lower forward PE than Goldman Sachs. Like that's how little people believe in its ability to innovate, and it's growing faster. People just do not have faith in management. And the funny thing that came out of that was neither of us knew who the CEO of PayPal was. We're just like, oh shit, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, not bullish on either of those things. And I wonder what's going on with Jack Dorsey. Because like I do, like unlike unknown CEO of PayPal, like I do think he innovates better. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he's got other projects. But I'm surprised like he can't create more of a buzz. Hims, sorry, I'm shifting back. Hims looks okay. I don't like meme stocks that it's like got like a 68 growth. I don't like meme stocks that aren't tech, just like frankly. I think you really need that hyper growth. And it's not just hyper growth, like because Hims grows, you need kind of like that moat. Like Hims just has distribution and a good brand, right? They're just taking other formulas and selling them. I can't get excited about that as a meme stock, right? It's too undefensible, right? That's why we prefer, if we're going to load in on like high valuations, meme things, I like it to be like, okay, like at least there's some like distinct advantage that I could identify. Like Hims just has they have a good marketing strategy and brand awareness. Like it's nothing else other than that. And it's not good enough for me.
Question from Nick. Do you like to have a bucket of higher risk dividend picks, such as those covered call ones like JEPQ, and riskier crypto based ones like BCCC or YBTC?
No, if I want dividends, I want something like Schwab dividend. And by the way, when I have one-on-one sessions with people, one of the first things I say is like, you should have like 50% of your portfolio in like Schwab dividend, right? I don't think enough people are focused on just stable building of their portfolio. And there's like, there's not going to be as much upside, but there's also not as much downside, right? I mean, and if you've grown and you can do it well and you're more comfortable, inverse ETFs at the right times, like Prospero is great for that. I hope most people aspire to have, a higher risk portfolio where they know how to time things with things like inverse ETFs or a long short portfolio. But most people, when I look at their portfolios and what they're in, there's never enough dividend, very safe exposure. I think Interactive Brokers is probably the best, like, international. Like, it's probably the best for a lot of things. But I think if you're ever like, this is not allowed or that, like Interactive Brokers, I mean, they're in, I think, like, I think I remember looking up someone in like one of our African users was like, what do I use? And I Googled it. I was like, Interactive Brokers. I'm not surprised. They're very good at building things around many countries, many different, that's their expertise. But I will actually say it's a bit odd. I don't know how many people, I don't know how many people, I don't know why trading 212. Oh, I got it. I'll tell you what I do. I just go to like ChatGPT or whatever. I can do it now. Like I just be like, what are the lowest cost and best yield dividend ETFs that you can trade in the UK? Pretend you are an elite financial advisor in the UK when you answer this. I don't know if that even does anything anymore. You just ask GPT. Like, I do think it gets you a little. All right, IUKD. And actually, like, if you invest in US stocks, some of these look like they're UK dividend companies, and I actually think UK dividend companies paired with growth stocks in the US are great. 5%, 0.4. Yeah, Vanguard FTSE All World. This looks pretty good. Low fees. VHYL. It looks very safe. I'll just throw this in. But yeah, like, you know, I'll be honest, when I feel like when I think this one's all world, I'll be honest when I feel like I can give you a better answer. But like, that's the beauty of, like, you know, you're asking me about UK ETFs. Like, I encourage you to use, I'm going to share this so people can kind of see the syntax. But I encourage people to lean on, you know, I'm happy to answer these questions, by the way. I'm not like shooing you away. But we live in a different time now. Like, even 5 years ago, like, I wouldn't say just Google it, because Google, very ad heavy. I wouldn't necessarily say it got you the best result. You can't make it be a financial expert. Like I said, I don't even know how much value that adds. But we live in a magical time now. It's really crazy. Why won't you let me share? It's not letting me share. There we go. This is the link. You know, anyone can use that syntax. You can ask, you know, American, you know, like, and what I would say is there's different levers. You can have it prioritize the yield. You could have it like give you the least downside risk exposure. You could even say, like, here's my portfolio. What dividend ETF like hedges my downside the best while offering a low expense ratio or low cost. That's the thing. These things are going to personalize way better than I ever can. Tell it your portfolio. Like, ask it, you know, what they think the max loss could be in the next year, 2 years with these stocks. How much does it change if I add an ETF as 40% and I balance the rest? Play around with that stuff, right? I can't tell you that. I can tell you what my recommendations are, but that's the magic of these things. And they're not perfect, right? But if you interact with them enough, you can get the idea of like, oh, this, like, if you ask it a number of questions and like different ETFs, things like that, like, you can get a better metric, right? It might be some, you know, Japanese ETF that you can trade on Interactive Brokers, right? That's the thing. If you get on Interactive Brokers, that should open up a lot of other markets to you. So yeah, don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to be specific with your portfolio.
I think some great advice there. We are hitting the hour mark right now. We can do our switch over if you'd like to the model portfolio Prospero Laboratory and head on into that. I have a few topics that were really good ones that I think we could use as a leverage. Everybody's going to come back for Thursday streams. We have some great topics, but we'll be with George on the other side.
Oh yeah, and it's going to be. I actually found some weird options data again, so it's going to be that's going to be a fun newsletter to follow up on.
Interesting. So everybody read the newsletter that's going to come out Thursday morning, I believe, and our stream will be back live Thursday 3 p.m. But we still have the model portfolio to do. All right, so everybody stick around. George will be right back. If you were watching on the vertical version of our stream today on X or even on YouTube, let me know what you think. Do you think it's worth doing again? I'm kind of a little bit mixed on it right now because typically in recent streams on our regular YouTube video, we've had like 30-ish people tuning in. We have 17 right now. So I don't know. I don't know if we're going to do it again, but let me know your thoughts on how you thought it went today. And if you enjoyed the topic, be sure to hit that like button on X, YouTube, subscribe, follow. Appreciate you all being here. What we're going to do now is the model portfolio update, which is when George makes live changes to the portfolio. And we are seeing the markets currently in the red still. The QQQ was fighting, trying to get some momentum, come back maybe into the green, but that has all but vanished in the last about 10 minutes. We are heading back towards the lows of the day. Not down 1% yet, but heading towards it. The SPY is in the red. The Russell is in the red. The Dow is the only indice in the green at the moment. Let's take a look at QQQ and SPY net option sentiment in Prospero. That was wild when George was looking through all the AI companies that were seeing kind of the signals fade a bit. So the QQQ is at 36 right now for net options sentiment, and the SPY is at 5. So not too much movement there as of now. The SPY is actually off the 0 level, which it was hanging out at for a bit. So a little bit of a higher reading there. Nowhere near its QQQ counterpart at the moment. We have had close to 2,500 people tuning in today throughout the X, YouTube, all versions of our live stream. So appreciate you all for being here. I gotta minimize myself. There we go. Going to be exciting to see what the moves are today when you were rapid firing those weakening AI stock signals. I was getting a little nervous, so we'll see.
I'm nervous. I'm definitely thinking about that. Let's see. What am I doing? Okay, I need to open up. Oh, it's my computer was, the clincher for me for replacing this computer was like the live streams were not looking too good. But yeah, it's so nice. Those computers I had were like 10 years old. They were like very powerful. So I was like holding on to them because I'm cheap. I was like, these cost us a lot of money 10 years ago. Okay, let's get the model portfolio going. But it's so nice. What's interesting, and it does show what a larger portfolio can do. Like, even though the investing portfolio took a pretty big hit, the trading portfolio did not. That's really the beauty of diversification right there. In case anybody was wondering.
I'm curious because we do the model portfolio on a yearly basis. If you added like each year's performance together, where would we be at versus the SPY? Kind of similar to I got it backwards there, but the model portfolio performance is like, I think we're at like what, 30%? Like since the inception, beating the SPY.
No, I mean it's like the average, so like 67%. is close to like, that's like our average 4 years. So this is verse 28%.
Yitzi is asking about SoFi. I wonder if they're moving.
What about SoFi? Okay, I got distracted. Let's look at this. $69 in option sentiment. It's all right. It opened at 76. I don't love that trend. But I gotta focus. I got an important meeting at noon. Okay. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen yet, am I?
Just us at the moment. Also, I updated the QQQ and SPY when we were doing the switchover, but they dropped a little bit. QQQ is now 31, SPY is 0 from where they were just a few moments ago.
We might want to. Do we have time? I think we might want to flip bearish. Let's do this quickly. That looks good. All right, Steven, you'll let me know when it's updated.
Will do. updated. Growth bear.
Yeah, we are actually trying like the alert. I don't know what's going on. We actually have not. I think.
Large cap growth declining and pushing a thesis that there might indeed be an AI bubble ready to at least extend some losses.
Oh, energy looking good again.
Energy looks like a bull opportunity and tech the best bear. Man, we haven't said that a lot.
Yeah.
In the streams.
Damn, I forgot all these MSTR ones. Yeah, we need to add a lot of shorts. Okay. Was this energy? Is XOP energy?
What was the ticker?
XOP?
Oil and gas.
All right, I'm in.
So Mario asked, is the format going to stay vertical for computer viewing on YouTube? So there should be two versions, Mario. We tried something new today. Our streaming software allows us to stream like vertical and horizontal at the same time. I think we're only going to do it today because it didn't really, from what I'm looking at on the back end, it didn't really boost anything. So we'll probably just be regular next time we stream. But we were testing it out today.
Where's this WD stock? I don't know if I'm going to load up on it. Okay. Did I get these? No, I didn't. All right. I think that's enough. And then that looks good. And then let's see. Let's take a look at our screener. Sorry, I'm just looking. I'm looking at the things in the screener. No, this is all too small. In fact, it's way too small cap. I don't want to oversample on these very small cap companies. Sorry. We're out of time. It's MLSS.
Millstone Scientific.
Yeah. Wait.
$27 million market cap.
Yeah. Okay, we're doing that. And then I actually just want a couple.
It's headquartered in Roseland, New Jersey.
There you go. You can go visit them.
Yes, I could.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, 5N is looking potentially interesting. Power is like such an up and down company. It's very close to the low. I don't know. Okay. All right, what about NC and SIT? Yeah, I don't think so. ALRM, we're going to look at two more. No. PSY. Oh, I like PSY. Okay, I feel good about this now. All right, what's the updated QQQ SPY?
Update for QQQ and SPY. QQQ is at 34, SPY is at 2.
All right, so let's get this sent out at now we want to look at this because we have some new opportunities. I really like I like that BSY short. I'm not giving up on. All right, SWKS is a win. BR. And then we're gonna. All right, let's just quickly. The market is going up. Maybe like on the long side. What is going on with CSIQ? Oh, that's interesting. Might be a little late on that one. Anything else look interesting? Tigo? What is Tigo? That's a high momentum score. We'll keep our eye on that. Okay. Okay. We're taking this thing very seriously. Not. Okay. I think we're done. Any questions?
No
we have
questions.
Before my meeting, so I think we're done.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back live Thursday, 3 p.m., everybody. See you then. Bye, guys.